Welcome back. Here's Bastion Assassin. We are live streaming Assassin's Creed Revelations on the Ezio Collection. This is my final stream for the Ezio Collection. And this one is kind of not something that most viewers are going to be interested in. I'm going to be doing the Desmond's Journey and the Lost Archive DLC. I'm going to be talking about them. I'll be doing Desmond's Journey here on the same save file where we did ACR. And instead of starting a new Lost Archive DLC, I'm going to do a... I'm just going to replay it on an old file. That way I don't have to pick up all the collectibles in order to break the loop. I'm going to try and be relatively talkative during this stream because I know the nature of the gameplay from Desmond's Journey and Lost Archive is not the most intriguing part. I'm going to try and keep an active conversation going about the lore and also about the controversy of this, you know, pretty poor gameplay in this series. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get started on part 1 of Desmond's Journey. I think that the Prime has good story content, an important backstory to Desmond, but it would have been much better in a different form.
Incredible. This must be the core of the Animus.
Try not to talk over him.
No simulations, no environments. I can't even feel my own body. Everything's just raw data. So am I still me, or am I some kind of computer program?
Alright. So here's kind of the thing, right? Like, it would have been more interesting, even if it were just in third person. I figure, you know, most people who play AC probably prefer third person in general. But also because... Oh, balls! Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to miss that. Sorry about my language there. When you play a first-person game, right, the point is to be immersed. This is completely immersion breaking. First of all, it has very little to do with what Desmond has been experiencing through the events of Assassin's Creed Revelations. And then there's just this weird thing where he, like, can't even feel his body, but listen to that. It's like church shoes on the concrete, and I look down, I've got no feet, I've got no body, nothing's going on. It's just, this was the lazy way out. Now, as I was saying, there's interesting narrative content to Desmond's Journey, and extremely interesting content to the Lost Archive DLC, in which you play sort of as Clay, or at least you're reliving, like, Clay's memories, right?
I was born here. The farm. Yeah, they called it the farm. My parents, 24 couples, some kids, a community, hidden away.
I mean, look at this, like, no, it's not the most compelling AC content, but take, like, this, like, concept art from the background here that has been projected onto the wall in, like Splinter Cell Conviction style, right? And instead of doing that, either give us cutscenes or a playable backstory. Cutscenes I would have been fine with.
Small houses in the Black Hills. Right. The clear skies, wood smoke, wind, stink of gasoline, generators running day and night. I remember. We lived simply, almost like nomads. So far from everything. Ready to pack up and go at the drop of a hat. If we were discovered. If they found us.
So, I mean, you could even put it in the context of, you know... Ah, gosh, sorry.
Wasn't much of one, was it?
He does talk a lot, which is good, I guess.
Not a proper farm. We grew some food. I don't remember any animals, though. Maybe a few dogs.
I can hear a collectible. Alright, anyway. Where is it, then? That's alright, I'm pretty sure that it's useless. since there's no multiplayer in the Ezio collection. I don't know why they kept the collectibles in there. The collectibles, like, got you multiplayer unlocks, like...
The Assassins. I was born into it. I didn't choose. It was like a birthright. You are an assassin, they told me. What did that even mean? Ever since I was young, they never stopped saying it. You are an assassin. You are an assassin. And this is our creed.
Nothing is true.
What did that mean? A world without purpose?
Everything is permitted.
Everything is permitted?
Anyway, I guess the central point is this. Desmond's journey has very important plot information, as does Lost Archive, right? But it just was presented in a way that was not appealing to,
They're looking for
well,
us.
just about anybody.
And they will not stop until every one of us is dead.
Yeah, I believed for a while. But I never understood.
Ah,
That's the trouble when you're born into something. Belief without understanding. Everyone was so serious. Scared, too. All that talk of assassins and Templars. The end of the world.
how am I supposed to nail that, then? Am I doing this wrong? Am I supposed to just go straight across? I don't remember. There's a ramp, isn't there, that goes straight across. I've made this mistake before, I think. Yep. Yep. Not the first time, probably not the last time. I mean, you got to think about it. Who does this appeal to? I mean, what they said in the marketing was that it was going to be like a very, quote, like, Portal-esque, I think is what they said, kind of experience. Puzzle platforming. This isn't puzzle platforming. There's no puzzle to it. I mean, maybe platforming, you're literally creating platforms in the later levels.
Desmond, empower yourself.
But it's not regular platforming, you know, where you've got obstacles, work your way around in a complicated method, you know, jumping up and over everything. Mario, you know? Thought I heard another collectible.
Every man has his limit, I guess. I can't remember when I stopped believing. When I stopped caring. God, it all sounded so stupid. I couldn't hear the word Templar without laughing. And assassin? Forget it. An ancient war, they said. An endless struggle. But I never cared. Who knew it was possible to bore a kid with war stories? I guess I was lonely. Alone in a crowd. If I could have told them that, maybe they would have listened. If only I could go back. If I could tell them I'm sorry.
I think I took a wrong turn somewhere. Yep, okay, here we are. Here we are, at the end. Nope, okay, good, it didn't. Okay. See, that sound is unnerving when it's held nice and loud in my headphones. It sounds a lot like an Xbox One game crashing. That reminds me of playing Batman Arkham Asylum for the first time. Those who played that know what I mean when, I think it's the third Scarecrow mission with Batman's brain. They're messing with the gamer's head, you know, making you think that your game is glitching up and then giving you strange inputs. Like, you die at one point during that section, and it says, oh, to dodge bullets, move the middle stick. And it takes you a split second, you're like, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? And it was really great the first time.
Recalibrating analyst idle parameters.
morning bell. God, I hated that.
Did I just do that?
Raining 5 days a week just before dawn. Up before the birds.
That's the great part about not even
the
being
other
able to see your
kids.
feet.
Come on, Desmond, get up. No lagging.
Exercise. Mandatory. A dip in the creek to get clean, then oats with butter and apple juice for breakfast. Ugh. I must have walked 1,000,000 miles before I was 10. But it was nice. I liked those days out in the hills. The hush, the open air, the deep dark of the forest. Crunch of boots on the dry ground.
Can you see Rapid City from here?
No, that's much further east.
I gotta find something to say about this. Oh, in terms of content, I suppose this is not the worst Assassin's Creed modern day. I think the rest of the modern day, when you're just on Animus Island with Clay, is fantastic, in fact. And I think that any modern day is better than the, quote, modern day that you get in Assassin's Creed Unity, which, you know, I've said before is a wonderful game. In fact, I defended it in my earlier live stream. See, look at that. You pick it up, and it doesn't even do anything now. They have these collectibles in here that were thrown in with multiplayer rewards. That's what I was saying. There are these multiplayer reward things in here, right? I think they'd give you, like, certain gear pieces. Not that the gear did anything in Assassin's Creed multiplayer,
What is this war about?
You know,
What
like
are we fighting
belts.
for? They never told me much. Just enough. They kept things shrouded. An air of secrecy. For my own good, they said. So we stayed hidden. Away in the Black Hills. If anyone ever knew who we were or what we were doing, there'd be trouble.
They're everywhere, Desmond. They have their hands in everything. Politics, war, finance, high-tech, agriculture. People are asleep, and while they dream, Abstergo builds a nightmare.
Abstergo. The first time I saw that name, it was on the side of a bottle of ibuprofen. Mom laughed when I asked her about it. Can't get away, she said.
Well, we pick our battles, I guess. So many to choose from.
She told me the average American household contains 3 dozen Abstergo-owned products at any given moment. If you tried to purge them from your life completely, it would be a full-time job. So this was it. The global conspiracy, Abstergo. Fingers in every pie. Governments, corporations, universities. Mom and Dad made it sound so scary. But it didn't feel scary. An enemy has to have a face, but all I could see was a bottle of painkillers.
So I have a question for any, well, really any AC fans. Specifically those who just kind of play the games, maybe. Not, I don't want to call you casuals, because that's rude. What's even going on in modern day anymore,
What scared
right?
me was the training. Sweat, tears, bloody lip every once in a while.
Focus, Desmond, focus.
How far were they going to push me?
Strength, speed, agility. No excuses.
Couldn't stand it. What was the point? For years and years, I thought some major catastrophe was on the horizon. I didn't know what to expect.
One day you'll understand. You'll see. All this unease will be worth something. I promise.
If they'd been more open with me. If they'd shown me things. Taken me places. Maybe it would have made more sense.
So my point is this, right? At this point in ACR, we kind of know it, you know, not just to collect pieces of Eden. We know about Project Phoenix, right? We know that they're trying to be able to find First Civilization, or Isu, DNA, right? But why? I mean, they're not the instruments of the First Order. I mean, I'm sure there are instruments of the First... But why? Why on Earth would they have any interest in? And, you know, you see Dr. Grammatica at the end of Syndicate saying, "Oh, now we'll be able to create First Civilization flesh. We won't need the clones anymore."
Recalibrating animus auto.
You know, once they have the shroud.
I wanted out. I wanted my own life, to live my own way.
I don't know why I'm doing it. I don't know why I'm even doing it. There's no good reason to. Perhaps every reason to not to. To not to. Where are we? All the way down the ground. Okay. You know, I just ask myself, like, where's the intrigue that we used to have? The conspiracy, you know? I love that in these early games, in the Desmond saga, you know? If modern day was focused, so the games mattered, so there was a story. And I really think that's the biggest reason the games have been suffering. I still love the games that come out. Even Syndicate. I talk trash about Syndicate all the time.
No idea. Just away. That's it. That was the plan. Not much of one.
So I talk trash about Syndicate all the time, right? I don't hate Syndicate. It's not a bad game. You know? It's just not what I wanted, really. Combat in Unity was so good, and then Syndicate was such a big step back from that. That's probably the biggest thing. I hate Jacob Fry, though. He's a punk.
They never guessed what I was doing. Because I didn't know what I was doing.
I don't hate him.
Right out.
Just don't like him as much as everybody else.
Someone realized I was gone. They shouted. I started running.
Desmond! Desmond!
Sorry, I've kind of talked a lot through this one. And then they get quiet, and I do too. That's awkward. I shouldn't say I hate Jacob. He just kind of bugs me sometimes.
All that training was finally worth something.
You know, he has some kind of cringy humor.
God, it was so dark when I left. And the forest. Endless. I didn't dare take the roads.
Desmond, where are you?
Mother. Calling out. Begging me to stay. But I wouldn't. I followed the hills down. Down until I hit a stream. I followed that to a river, and from the river to an old access road.
What I really don't like about this is you spend so much time just looking at your feet. Ah! Dude, I spent too much time looking at my feet there and didn't see what was coming up ahead. That doesn't make much sense. I'm going down a river. Why does the river go uphill? Oh, that was close.
For hours that day. The summer sun keeping me warm well into the evening.
I remember people complained. I was supposed to get off there. I always forget that. There's a similar mission in Assassin's Creed 3, or it was called Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation originally. Assassin's Creed Liberation, where you're going down this river, the river comes to a waterfall and you're supposed to get off. Yeah, I've missed that before too.
Found a clearing after dark. Fell asleep beneath the stars. Never had a quieter night. Not before or since. Walking. Too scared to hitch a ride. What the hell was I doing? Lost in the Badlands for a day. Felt like a week. Endless ocean of wrinkled earth. Can't believe a place could look so dead. I'm gonna die, aren't I? I'm gonna die
Those
here.
red-tailed hawks there. Oh, if you don't know, the sound of the
Finally
eagle
met some girls
screech.
from Illinois.
Oh,
So bubbly,
So bubbly.
so kind. One day drive to Omaha, another to Chicago. Then somewhere, someone said to me,
If you've got nothing, you go to New York. That way, if you leave with nothing, people don't ask why. And if you leave with something, you are one lucky son of a bitch.
so that's where I went. New York City. Into skyscrapers and subways. To filth and folly. Into the maddening crowds.
I don't remember what I was saying before. From the Animus Island and be more connected somehow, where, like, I guess Desmond, you know, gets Clay's memories in the exchange during the scheduled for deletion scene. Hey look, my invisible hidden blade! And at that point, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I think that's what, shoot, what's his name? Guy that wrote Brotherhood, he wrote Lost Legacy, and he wrote Syndicate. I was expecting Syndicate's story to be so good. Jeffrey Yohalam.
Archived. Warning. Memory leak detected. Recalibrating Animus idle parameters.
It was because he was
Back to work
writing...
when the sun goes down. Brooklyn JMZ into the city. Transferred Washington Square. Down to the Triangle.
That was lucky. It was because he was writing Syndicate that I expected Syndicate to have a really good story. Because
Rising
I
from
thought he was a
below
really
like
good
the
writer
living
and knew
dead.
it was his AC,
Into
you know?
the sun. The light shocking my eyes. Walking those 10 minutes between the subway and the bar always felt so good.
Yeah, that was close.
But that feeling never lasted. Some days the city's a vampire. It steals... It's all your best moments. They come and go in seconds and fade away. You end up remembering only the worst.
Eesh. I cannot think about what I'm saying. Might just be the light platformer elements trying to time
Tending
things right
bar
there.
at bad weather. I just walked in and they handed me a shaker. Took me on for my ravishing looks. I think the owner had a little crush. My winning smile.
Hey, what's that drink you invented?
I laughed at my past, laughed at my family, joked about everything. Even the end of the world.
Had it last time?
Shirley Templar?
Surely Templar, what's in it?
The usual. I just had some gin.
Right on, photos.
There was a big dream floating out there. And every night I saw people dreaming it. I don't know how they did it. It takes as much money to smile as to pay rent in this place. The more I missed my family, the more I hated myself for it. I told myself I wanted a new family. I wanted to start over.
Hey, Des, you going to the after party? Nah, I'm a little out of it.
Lights, action, bass drum. Mind-numbing. 124 beats per. Twice the speed of a beating heart.
So where are you from?
He was raised in a cult or something like that. You know, out west.
My parents were conspiracy
I think I finished it
freaks.
before the
They
music
live
could
off the
start.
grid, in the woods.
That's awkward.
Seriously?
God, they all look so good. Girls in their skirts. Batting eyes.
I think we're supposed to be on the
beads of
left
sweat.
side.
Everyone was so beautiful in those flashing lights.
Yeah, I think the left side's the only way through. Maybe not.
I was a
Maybe
new
this
man,
side can get through too.
born again.
Yeah, we're good.
Alone, but alive. Trying to forget.
Come on.
Let go.
Where's the
Desmond.
music? Did it just not play?
Just let it go. Forget it.
That's so weird. Alright, was that the fourth one?
Memory sequence archived. Warning. Recursive idle state instability.
I think it might have been more interesting if they let you go at something more than a quick walk through these things.
After 9 years of being away, my old bitterness was back. I was tired again. I didn't want to admit that moving forward might mean taking a step back. But the shine of the city had faded. The freedom I felt was hollow without old friends, without family. And then they came for me. Abstergo. They had been looking for me. I couldn't believe it.
What the heck? I'm not sure what just dropped out from under me.
Mr. Miles.
Yeah? I spent half my life trying to forget everything my parents taught me. Everything I thought was a lie.
Desmond Miles.
Yeah, what's this about? And suddenly, I wanted it all back. All that training. All that time. But I couldn't. Those days, they were gone.
Oh!
Why are you doing this to me?
You have information we need, Mr. Miles.
Information? I'm a bartender, for Christ's sake.
We know who you are. What you are.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't play coy with me. There isn't time. You're an assassin. You've got
There's not really
something
even
my
like a good
employers want.
face
Locked away in
to
that
Abstergo.
head.
No, that's the way we came from, isn't it?
Bastards!
Is that where I'm supposed to go? Or through here? I'm not thinking it's supposed to be through here. Yeah. Alright, so I feel like there's not even a good face to Abstergo anymore. I mean, I was always looking forward to seeing what happened. Where am I supposed to even go? Right through here, aren't I? I always looked forward to what would happen. What? Why can't I get up there then? When they brought Warren, or sorry, no, not Warren, but when they brought Alan Rickon, known as Riken in the film. Why does that not even work? I must be going the wrong way. When they brought Alan Riken into the film, I was really interested in seeing what they would do with that, you know? Because they hadn't had a face, a proper face, for Abstergo. Oh, this was the right way to go. Okay, good. Since Vidic dies at the end of AC3, right? And without that face, I felt like, wow, what even happened there? Why are those just falling away? Why? Why aren't those ones breaking away then? I'm getting some nasty glitches, fellas. Okay. Oh! Just gotta like leap of faith my way out here. Ugh. Yep, they just disappear sometimes. What is even going on? Am I supposed to push a button first or something? It's gotta be a glitch. Right? That is clearly a glitch. What on earth? I've never really encountered a lot of glitches in the Desmond saga or in the Lost Archive DLC. But lo and behold, I managed to find them. I managed to do so in stream. So you've all witnessed it. It does happen. Just through here, isn't it? No. Down the hallway? Okay. Oh yeah, another elevator. Alright, as I was saying before crap started going wrong. Warren Vidic for the first 5 games provides this really incredible villain. I mean, it's not like he personally has these incredible aspirations, but just he was well voiced. And was a direct antagonist to Desmond, you know, someone who had directly opposed him in the form of being the man that imprisoned him, right? I thought that was in there. Nope, never mind. So, AC3 comes around and Desmond kills Vidic, almost anticlimactically. Oh my gosh, I said something bad about AC3. It does happen.
In a few short months,
I love AC3,
my life
but
changed
it's
forever.
not perfect.
I know my easiest days are behind me, but I don't want them back. Not now.
Right, the doors.
My name is Desmond Miles, and I am an assassin. I am an assassin.
Alright, there it is. He is an assassin. He's identified himself. So they kill off Vidic at the end of AC3, right? And at that point in time, I think they kind of lost their direction with the modern day. A new outfit unlocked. Yay! Okay, don't leave, viewer. I'm going to switch to a different save file. Anyhow, when they got rid of Vidic, it's not just getting rid of Vidic, but getting rid of Desmond also in AC3 really screwed up the modern day story, because without ever really gaining any new protagonist or antagonist, which means that we don't have a proper conflict except between two secret organizations, without anyone to have stakes in it, you know? Okay. This one we're going to replay the one that I've done before, so we don't have to get the collectibles. I don't want to do Memory 5. I've done Memory 5. That's not what I wanted to do. I want to start with Memory 1. We'll go into the memories and we'll change it. There we go. So, you lose your protagonist, you lose your antagonist, protagonist and antagonist, right? In the course of 2 games, you come back with Black Flag with a faceless tablet who doesn't have motivations, who doesn't know anything about the Assassin-Templar conflict at the beginning of the game. Which is fine if they had a character arc, but they're not even a character. It's you, and then they say, no, it's not you, you're an initiate. They just keep changing who I, personally as a player, am, you know, because in Black Flag and Rogue, I am an Abstergo employee. Look, no, man, you're an initiate. And then the initiate's coming around with the Unity and Syndicate, and it doesn't make any more sense, you know? I have no motivations. I have no character arc.
For his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff.
And then we all got up and marked our favorite jobs on the board. I'm going to be an astronaut, Dad.
Did you hear your son? The kid wants to be a spaceman.
I think that Clay, as they present him in the Lost Archive and in Assassin's Creed Revelations, would have made a more interesting character than Desmond.
Clay Kazmarek? Few are offered the opportunity I now give you.
It's unfortunate that the only time we get to play as Clay is in this. Again, interesting content that would have been better with different gameplay. I mean, could you imagine if we just played as Clay? I mean, or saw movies or cutscenes even. I mean, because it's not super interactive stuff. I thought I was at the end. I am at the end. It's that thing where it changes behind you, huh? Yep. No, maybe. Maybe not. Yes.
Prove yourself, novice, and you will be one of us.
It's left to the right, isn't it? Yes. Okay. Left me. So there are certain story revelations. If this is your first time watching, I won't reveal what they are. There are certain very important modern-day story revelations contained in the Lost Archive DLC. Many AC fans are angered about important story being relegated, as they put it, to DNC, or DNC, to DLC. I'm not that angry about it being put in DLC. What I'm angry about, really, I'm not super angry. You guys know I'm pretty happy about Assassin's Creed. What displeasured me was the fact that that DLC was more of this. If it had been quality DLC, if it had been something akin to, say, Freedom Cry, where we had a new character. Well, hello, I missed it completely and jumped off my other one. Okay. If we'd had something akin to Freedom Cry, right, where we had our own character and a new character to the narrative. I guess Adwale wasn't new, but a new player to the character, you know, similarly to how Subject 16 could have been a new character to the player, whose motivation and narrative are separate from that of the primary protagonist. I think that would have allowed for much greater storytelling as well as player engagement. If we had had a Lost Archive DLC, right, where we played as Clay, joining the Assassin's Order, being asked by William Miles to infiltrate the, not to infiltrate, but to go and participate in the Animus program in order to gather information for the assassins, to work with Lucy, right? If we'd actually been playing as Clay instead of just this, right? Then I think that I would have been happy to have felt vindicated in purchasing the DLC, right? Like, DLC, downloadable content, especially paid DLC, right? You want to feel like it's worth it. Not just worth the download, but worth the money that you pay for it, right? And typically DLC doesn't come at the same value proposition that a full retail game does. In that, you know, for X number of dollars for a retail game, you get X amount of content.
Together we will
that amount of content is significantly less in DLC than it is in a standard game. You know, like, especially with Assassin's Creed, you're usually lucky if you get 1 or 2 hours in a DLC pack. Okay, so let's take this one, right? The Lost Archive. Perfect example. It costs $10. I know many longtime Assassin's Creed fans who never picked it up because it cost too much for them to feel worth it. Okay? For what it specifically is. Because it takes about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, to get all of the achievements, to pick up all the collectibles, get everything done. As you'll see here, it's probably going to take an hour or so to get through the entirety of just playing it through. After which I'll replay Chapter 5, and, oh, we don't have, there we go. I'll replay Chapter 5, or Memory 5, and we'll go ahead and break the loop.
And never submit ourselves to the hollow quest for fame. We move through clouded spaces.
Ah, there it is.
Beware the easy path. Knowledge grows only through challenge.
Oh, right underneath it, of course.
You're retiling the roof at noon, Clay.
But I'm working on a history paper.
Let it slide. The foreman's son just finished engineering school and he's pocketing $60K a year. Now that's where the money is.
They will throw obstacles in your path to distract you, but never lose sight of your goal.
So I was saying about value propositions, right? If you get an hour and a half out of the Lost Archive DLC, you're kind of lucky. It's $10. So you pay, what? About $15 an hour. That's a lie. I did that completely wrong. Good maths, Scott. Good maths. Let's start this equation over. I feel really stupid right now. You've got 1 hour of content. You pay $10 for it, obviously. So 1.5. Okay, you're paying what, like $7.50 an hour? I don't know math. Suddenly can't think it. Now I'm self-conscious about it, so I can't even think it at all. Darn math. If you know, put in the chat below. How much would I be paying for it per hour? I don't know, but it's not a lot of hours, anyway. You're not getting a lot of mileage out of it, like you would for a retail game. So, that's where you start asking yourself, okay, is it worth it to pay for a DLC for this amount of money? It's important for developers then, and for publishers, to make sure that that content feels worth the money. And if it does not, then people aren't going to buy in, which was part of the problem Lost Archive DLC had. Is that people did not buy in. How do you get back there? Because they did not see the value proposition as being a worthwhile one. Oh, up here. And then, after giving people a poor value proposition, plus DLC of gameplay that they didn't really want to see more of, right? That's unnerving. They put important story revelations in it. That's, I think, where the primary problem lies with putting important story revelations inside the Lost Archive DLC, is that it was put in something that people didn't want. You know? If it had been inside a Desmond mission where you play as Desmond in the modern day, or Clay, or whatever else. I mean, the most important thing is there's a very important story revelation. It could have been a worthwhile payoff, but instead, most people had to learn about it on the forums, or on YouTube, on the internet, instead of through the gameplay. It's the same issue that I have with some of the transmedia. And don't get me wrong, because some of it has been very good, but there has been an awful lot of it, and some of it has been very bad. And so it's hard to know what kind of value proposition you're actually getting when you get an Assassin's Creed comic book. That's primarily what I'm talking about, because, you know, the movie, most people, I assume most AC fans saw the movie, you know. You know, the YouTube materials, the novels even, I think, are fine, because they usually just elaborate on details that we already have.
Marnie, can you take my kids tomorrow night? I have a date. Don't say that so loud. I'm at work. But seriously, with my luck, I'll be home by 7. Hold on.
I don't know what she's talking about. But the comic books, right? There's been so many of them, and I'm not much of a comic book reader. I can enjoy comic book stories themselves, but I find the value proposition of comic books to be somewhat lacking, in that they often cost more than what I get out of them. And even the time spent on them sometimes I feel is a waste.
Against the Templars, a secret society dedicated to controlling mankind. Abstergo is their front, the source of the invisible hand that circles the globe.
What am I looking for?
Alan Ricken's computer. I need more data about a program called the Animus Project.
Wait, is this where I'm supposed to be back here? Yeah, okay, up there. So it's all about that value proposition, whether or not it's worth it to the end user, to you and me. And that's really determined by both cost and value. Something like the story revelations in the Lost Archive are probably not worth it to your average Assassin's Creed player. You know, $10 for some of this. I didn't even play that in the main story, says most AC fans. Or players, anyway. Oh my gosh, I did not think that through. I made a horrible mistake. Okay, what have we got? What have we got? What have we got? It's that way. Jeez. What do I need to do? Kind of a safe spot right now, right? There we go, okay. Whew, okay. That was kind of tense. Alright, it's not all the way down, remember that. There it is, okay. It is all the way down. Long story short, TLDR, right? I don't think it was a good idea for, I was going to call him Abstergo, for Ubisoft to put the revelations that they did inside the Lost Archive DLC, simply because most players would never see it. And if most players never see it, then how are they going to know the important story elements of it? I think it's disrespectful to your users who actually care about the story, you know, because I think there are plenty who do. There are lots of different draws. This is a conclusion I've come to over the years. We get a lot of people who assume that everyone else is not as big an Assassin's Creed fan as they are because, oh, they don't like the story as much, or, oh, they're not as into the history, or, oh, they don't play the multiplayer, or, you know, any number of things. Because, here's the point. Assassin's Creed is an incredibly diverse and varied experience. And because of that, there are a lot of things that attract people to Assassin's Creed. A lot of different things. I think that's one of the reasons that games have gotten so frustrating to so many people in recent years, is that no one knows, especially not the devs, they don't know, you know, what exactly they need to provide to the players in order to keep them all engaged. Because, you know, it's a huge player base. It's not the biggest by any means, but it's a huge player base. It's a very successful game. It's not the most successful game, but it is a very successful game. And because of the sheer diversity of what you've provided in the games, people like them for very different reasons. So how do you cater to everybody without pissing somebody off? You can't. There's always going to be somebody that says, oh, not modern day again, or, oh, what happened to modern day? You know, there's always going to be somebody that says, I don't want them to waste their assets working on multiplayer when all I play is single player. Then you've got the people who say, we haven't had single player since 2014, Assassin's Creed is dying. You know, there's always somebody that wants something different than you. That's kind of the conclusion I've had to come to, unfortunately. And, you know, obviously I express a bunch of opinions that belong to me. And they may belong to a few other people, but I'm not by any means saying I'm in the majority. I actually highly doubt that. I get a whole lot of feeling that people want me to just sit down and shut up in the AC forums sometimes. Because, oh man, okay, I made a wrong turn somewhere. Here we are. Because people just don't agree with a lot of my opinions, you know? Alright, okay, yeah, we're supposed to jump again, of course. Alright, here's the fun one. Oh gosh! Here comes the fun one, where there's just a bit of luck, and I just, like, don't like waiting to find out what's gonna happen. And I happen to get lucky, so there's that. That didn't work at all. That did the opposite of working. Alright, let's just use a ramp then. Okay. Alright, are we here already? For reals? No, this is not what I thought it was. Thank goodness.
They've put into the Animus project since the 80s. We need to go deeper next time. Find out what Abstergo's really searching for inside our DNA. I'm counting on your help, Clay.
Where is it? There it is. Okay. I mean, let's be candid, though. Going back to what I was saying about Clay being a more interesting character than Desmond, right? Not that I hate on Desmond. I just know that he's not the most interesting character.
Know you had it in you.
Here, look.
This isn't one of the top schools.
There's an amazing programming department.
Casmerics build things. They don't sit at a desk.
I do like the environmental storytelling here.
No.
where's our team being sent?
Italy, to Abstergo's new research.
This is the one that you have to get through without dying for that achievement. Had a guy actually pay me cash money to finish this for him.
Outside the assassin order, waiting to be called upon.
I am not promising to finish this without dying this time. Not by any means.
Abstergo. Since the age of 17, the girl has lived outside our ranks. All her ties to the assassins have been erased.
Lucy Stillman. I know you're out there.
D-Day is February 1, 2011. You will be caught by their lineage.
That is not right. Okay. How many times have I played this level, I should know.
Now Lucy will get you direct access to the Animus at night. And once you have enough information, she'll get you out.
Just checking the chat, make sure that none of you are
Welcome to the Animus, Subject 16.
trying to get my attention really quickly. Alright, this is where the level starts to get a little bit challenging.
They are tattered, blackened, almost illegible. Useless to all but dreamers. Misunderstood and misused by politicians.
Alright, then up.
But what if there was a way to restore history's luster? To truly know its lessons? The Animus gives us such a chance.
What are you really looking for? Last time I checked, Abstergo didn't have a history division.
Very astute, Mr. Kazmarek. But we do own an entertainment studio. Perhaps a period drama is in production. Contemplate that while you finish your next session.
Oh, there it is. That's alright, I've already got that achievement a couple times over. I don't need to get it again. Oh, a little bit early. Or late, rather. A little bit late. I thought I could get in there. That angle was just bad. I promise I won't die the whole time. Alright, there we are, through there.
Keep working and I will consider it.
You're a good liar.
Get him back in there, still.
Sorry, I'm very quiet right now. I'm just kind of concentrating. I know that this is an easy spot to die. The projector's over here. Whew, that was close. Okay, and then this is a tough spot right here. I know that from much experience. But okay, here we go. Don't die, don't die, don't die. Okay, here we go. That's not it.
There is an old tale passed down through the ages, that the apple of Eden was not flesh at all, but solid like marble or bronze. They say incredible powers will be granted to the man who holds it. Truthfully, I believe such lies to be little more than blasphemy.
If he sees the apple, let me know immediately.
you heard of the assassino?
Si, Ezio Auditore. Find out about this Ezio Auditore. I want his records on my desk by the end of the week.
What apple are you looking for?
You really want me to answer that question, Mr. Kazmarek? If I did, you couldn't reasonably expect to be released.
This is the
at
most
end of
challenging
this
part of this level.
In which river do you throw the bodies?
Oh no.
Is that fear I hear in your voice, Subject
Woo!
16?
Few close
Should
calls.
be. His readings aren't normal, Miss Stoneman.
Are you there, Clay? Remember, stick to the mission.
What's gonna happen to me?
Don't worry. Lucy will get you out. We're a team.
Lucy?
Memory 5. The music here is incredible. Yes, I know the bridge is built. I'm not going to go through the bridge because I want to show you guys levels, and we'll come back here and we'll do this. Break the loop to show the finale, because that's how it's meant to be done. It's a strange little thing. They created this story-driven DLC in a horrible gameplay, right? And then they tied unlocking the ending of said DLC to picking up all of the collectibles in it. I don't think that was probably the best choice. And a lot of repetitive replaying. Which is why I'm doing this on a clean playthrough instead of, or not. Why I'm not doing this on a clean playthrough, and I'm instead simply replaying the memories. I don't want to have to pick them up or scrounge for them or look up a YouTube video myself while I try and figure out where they are. I want to be able to simply present the story to you. Oh no! Or just screw up like that. Path. I think it's all the way over here on the right. That's obviously impossible. So I am wrong. Does Juno talk to you the first time that you're in here? I seem to recall her doing so. And it being... Whoa, hello. Very intense. Maybe she does not do it if you're on a replay. I might be having you guys miss out on some very important stuff. I apologize if that is the case. It might just be in the next chapter. But Juno does speak directly to Clay. It is her idea. There's something very bittersweet about the entire Assassin's Creed modern narrative up until end of AC3, right? And that's knowing that Clay, in the end, sacrifices himself for Desmond. And until AC3, I thought that was a very noble gesture, and it really is, on his part. You know, he, as far as he knew. But we find out that the only reason Juno wanted Desmond saved was so that she could be released from her prison. Oh gosh, that was a little early. And that makes, I think that makes Clay's sacrifice even more tragic, but perhaps less noble. Not on his part necessarily, but the sacrifice itself becomes less meaningful. Let's not screw this up again. And when I played Lost Archive for the first time, it just struck me really how selfless Clay really is. You know, that's a fantastic quality to have in a hero. You know, someone who is willing to make that utter and total sacrifice for someone else. In the Lost Archive, it really becomes clear to us that Juno communicated with Clay and made it clear to him that his sacrifice was absolutely necessary in order to save Desmond. And of course, the Desmond could save the world at the end of AC3, you know. But also, of course, to Juno, so that she could rule again. Now that is an interesting topic. We had probably about a week ago on the AC forums. There were people talking about. I think I talked about this in a previous stream.
Thank you. Inform me when he recovers, and we will return to work.
You have been experimenting on him for more than a year now. The man needs a long rest.
Stick to your field, Doctor, and I will practice mine.
How are you doing?
Anyway, there were people talking about. Oh, never mind.
I know it's hard with Mom gone.
Our contractor's not getting any jobs thanks to this crappy economy. I haven't been to work in a week.
That's tough. I sent a check. It should arrive today or tomorrow.
This is where I need to be, is it not? Or is it up higher? Whoa. Whoa! I got schnipsed out from behind me. So anyway, we were talking about the, oh, that's right, there was just a collectible back there before. We were talking about the Juno story arc on the forums, right? And whether or not it had been dragged out for too long. I don't think it's honestly been dragged out for too long. I don't think that's the problem. I think that this is something that happens very often in basically any video gaming community, or any fandom community, really, that we tend to, oh dang, what was that? Incorrectly identify the issue, the real problem, whatever, you know? Oh, that's what was happening to me. Okay. We see it, right? The problem with Juno as, oh, the Juno storyline is awful, therefore it has gone on for too long. So let's see, how long has the Juno storyline been going on? For 5 years, right? Oh gosh. The AC, no, don't do that yet. The AC storyline had gone on for 5 years before that. I know people were calling for some conclusions, but this is the real issue, okay? It's not that it's bad, per se. It's not that it's a bad narrative or a bad idea. I mean, come on, that moment when Juno steps over Desmond's body at the end of AC3 and says, now my turn. You look at that and you just say, hey, I'm ready for this. So AC4 rolls around. I think that's one of our primary problems. This is something that worries me with Ashraf and his team. running the show now with Origins, right? They didn't seem to really care about the modern day. They just said, well, we'll just create a floating tablet, and there will be no motivations, no conflict, nothing really truly interesting about it. We'll just have a bunch of audio logs, which, you know, I'm actually quite fine with audio logs sometimes. For instance, I think that both the Desmond journey and the Lost Archive DLC would have been better served even as audio logs than the state they arrived in.
Fits the data gathered from Subject 16's memory of Ezio Auditore, but it is quite likely that he won't see essential details free. Desmond is the key to the location of the pieces of Eden.
Oh, that was dumb.
Our scientists have been running tests.
No, don't do that.
If we were to place just one within a satellite and angle it toward the Earth, Utopia would be within our grasp. Yes, that's it. I know what it was.
Oh, that's a little noisy in my ears. Oh crap, no, you're kidding me. Oh, you're kidding me. It's not necessarily that it's been dragged out for too long, it's that they haven't really done anything with it in the time that it's happened. So yeah, I mean, it's been strung out or dragged out perhaps too long. Milked, perhaps, even, right? And that's the issue, is that it's been too many years with not enough content. It's not the story itself. It's not that we need to just end the Juno narrative and just abandon it, or heaven forbid, cut out the modern day altogether. It's really more of a question of how we do that, of how we do it well. Did I make a wrong turn somewhere? No, I'm good. Alright, there we go. Okay. Do better, Ubisoft. Don't give up. Don't do less. You don't even really have to do more. You just have to do better. You know, with the whole Juno narrative. I mean, I feel awful because I keep ragging on Unity. I love Unity! Okay, sorry, I'll shut up. This is the most important part of this DLC. Though it is a little melodramatic.
Lucy, this is where your background comes into play. If our experiments with Desmond and the Animus aren't going well, you will remove him from Abstergo. Take him somewhere he will feel comfortable divulging his secrets. Your assassins should do the trick. Since Desmond will be reading our emails, we will ensure that secret communications between you and the assassins go through unimpeded. Once you are embedded, I will come to pick up the Animus tapes. Make sure to look very upset. You need to be convincing. Desmond will lead you to the apple, and then you bring it right to us. We're counting on you, Lucy. You have served the Templar Order well, and we never forget loyalty. Oh, yes. Once inside their hideout, perhaps you might ask the assassins why they left you alone for so many years.
Lucy! Trapped. I have to get out of here.
Your eyes are now open. Help Desmond Miles.
I will.
They must all suffer as we suffered.
The revelation, right? I don't know, did I say this before? I'm not sure if I was muted. But the revelation of, oh darn it, of Lucy as being a double agent. That being, of course, the most important bit of story content in this DLC. It was very hard for me to hear the first time. I really loved the character of Lucy. I want to land on the platform so it actually like saves my checkpoint. And for a while there, you know, I thought Kristen Bell was a pretty cool actress too. I don't really think that very much anymore. I think like too many she's become so blinded by ideology and politics that she can't even have any fun anymore. Oh, that music. Oh, it just breaks my heart, Clay. For those that don't know, these symbols were left all over the walls and the floor in the Abstergo facility in Assassin's Creed 1. They were left there by Clay Kaczmarek, Subject 16, as he lay dying. They were left as a warning, and also, he, at the same time, was killing himself. He killed himself specifically so that his consciousness could be, oh darn, could be uploaded to the Animus, where he would be able to help Desmond. So he died again to save Desmond. But again, he did it at Juno's behest. Ah, Juno, Juno, Juno. Always Juno. And of course, Juno didn't do it because she wanted Desmond to... Oh, there's only a collectible over there. I don't need to go that way. Because she wanted Desmond to live. Or even because she wanted Desmond to save the world so much. I'm sure, you know, she loves having her slaves and such. She only wanted Desmond to live because Desmond's DNA was the key that everyone sought to unlock the Grand Temple. But the only reason she cared about the Grand Temple, well, pretty good reason I think, is that she was ensnared there. Oh, you're kidding me, after all that. After all that. Okay, let's go. Let's get a little higher up. There we go. Okay. Yeah, okay, we're good. Okay. So she tricks everyone. She deceives everyone through all this history, she deceives Ezio. She deceives Desmond. Oh, did she deceive Ezio? I'm not sure Ezio ever saw Juno. She deceives Desmond. She deceives Clay. All these people. She misuses Minerva's plans that were laid. She uses the Templars.
Granted.
She uses the Assassins, all against one another, simply so that she can get free. And it's an incredible narrative when you look at that from that perspective, because through the years, with each game that came out, my perspective as a player shifted. Okay? Each time, I was confused. You know, AC2 comes out, we finally see one of these first civilization people, right? We start to learn a little bit about who and what they are, maybe just the tiniest bit, and about, you know, the end of the world that's coming. Oh gosh, worst way to die ever. And when we do that, okay, it opens up the door to the whole series, really. Assassin's Creed 1 left a lot of open doors. Assassin's Creed 2 is essentially where the main narrative... Oh, no, we don't have to go anywhere. There's this collectible up there. Assassin's Creed 2 is where the main narrative of the modern day really starts, right? You know, with the catastrophe looming, plus Abstergo wanting to launch their satellite.
Data upload initiated.
And, you know, you leave that with this great feeling of mystery. You know, who are these people? How can they see the future? You know, how can they talk to Desmond? What is actually... Oh gosh, did I do it again? What is actually going on with the First Civilization, with the Templars? You know, you finish off Brotherhood, man, that ending really messed with me. You finish off Brotherhood, and you start just asking yourself, hey, so, who's Juno? Why was she the one controlling Desmond? Was she using the apple to control Desmond? Is she the reason that Desmond kills Lucy? Why kill Lucy? What's the deal with Lucy? And, you know, there were definitely fan theories after Brotherhood that Lucy was a Templar. They were definitely there, but, you know, fan theories being what fan theories are, we weren't sure what to think of them necessarily, you know? It turned out to be correct, of course. And so after Brotherhood, we're left both confused and anguished because this very important character to the series is lying in a pool of her own blood. You know? Mostly just because Kristen Bell couldn't be bothered to do more than 2 Assassin's Creed games. Oh no, I'm stuck. Oh! Where am I? I am where I got stuck. Okay. So Kristen Bell couldn't be... Okay, Kristen Bell couldn't be bothered to do more than 3 Assassin's Creed games. That's certainly more than 1. But we're left anguished, you know, at the death of her character. Why on earth did she have to die? We're mad at Juno. Is Juno bad? Is Juno awful? You know, is she trying to kill Desmond? Is she a Templar? What's going on? She could just guard against the cross. So is she not a Templar? Is she good? Is she bad? Why? We're so confused. Oh, I'm so confused about this puzzle. If only I can get past it. Alright, let's go straight back. I fell right off. I don't know what got me there. That was crazy creepy laughing. Ah, there we are. There's our way out. So Revelations ends, you know, and we're left feeling grateful to Clay. You know, extremely grateful, because Clay saves Desmond, you know? Clay gets us out. Plus, you know, we're excited. We've got the location of the temple revealed to us, which, you know, was really revealed in Da Vinci Disappearance, as you guys saw in my... Oh my gosh, in my live stream. They're at the Grand Temple. Desmond's saved by Clay. We're relieved. We're excited for AC3. We're left sort of not trusting Juno, but kind of like reluctantly working with her, you know? There's a platform. There's something somewhere that we need to... There it is. Okay. Oh my gosh. Ah! Oh. That was so close. I thought. Then AC3 comes out. I love AC3. AC3 comes out, right? And we find out... Alright, even in between AC3, right? We've got Lost Archive, right? Which was our in-between AC3 moment. We find out that Clay is, has made an even greater sacrifice for Desmond. And all the things he did because Juno made him, okay? So having learned those things, we go into AC3, ready to save the world. Only to find out that Juno prepared all of those things simply so that Desmond could die, and so that she could be freed. A great price that she spoke of. And we're left feeling betrayed, obviously by Juno, and also concerned because the worth of Clay's sacrifice
DNA
is
and
brought
memory
into
scanned.
question.
Upload complete. Quarantining construct Clay Kasmeric.
We are nothing.
Thursday, January 27, 2011, 2 p.m.
Hi, Clay, it's your dad. Pick up the phone. I know we haven't talked in a long time. I'm fixing the back porch. It's hotter than hell out here, and I could use a hand. Call me. Let me know you're okay.
Of course, being the hint to return to Memory 5. Once the loop can be broken. What's beautiful to me, for me, about this is that it makes me think of Clay actually dying. The willing plummet that he took. I don't advocate suicide in any form, of course, but that he knew he was making a sacrifice. He was falling on his own sword in order to save the world, as Desmond had to do. And there's something truly noble and beautiful about it. Alright, we will not be replaying Memory 1, of course, even though this is where it sends us back, because there's this loop, and you have to break the loop, picking up all the collectibles. What wonderful and innovative gameplay. We'll instead be going straight to Memory 5. Which is where we can break the loop. And we'll be completing that one a second time. Clay is a hero to me. but he was one who was used. You know, that's the point I guess I'm trying to get across. I was thinking that was the point of this whole narrative. It's horribly tragic that you have a good young man devoted to a cause who speaks to a godlike being, and that godlike being tells him, Clay, you have to save Desmond. If you don't save Desmond, the world will end. And to save Desmond, you have to die. You have to be uploaded, essentially, to this machine, so that when Desmond needs you most, you can be there for him. And he does it. He does it nobly and selflessly. Oh! Excuse me for missing that. And again. And he still saves the world. It's the same tragedy as Desmond. You know, Desmond saves the world. We should not mock his sacrifice because he saves the world, you know? It's no small thing to give your life for. And yet, how it was done. The price that was paid not only by him, but really by the world. Because he unleashed a new evil upon it. Oh, no, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Of course, makes us ask, what if he'd chosen not to? Now, of course, if he'd chosen not to, then much of the narrative leading up to AC3 would have been kind of for nothing. Clay's sacrifice certainly would have been meaningless. Just waiting for the platform to come back down. There it is. And yet, he first of all would have stood truer to... In some ways, it's such a complicated situation. He would have stood truer to the tenets of the creed. He would have been providing a means by which people could continue to choose, and yet people cannot choose if they are dead. So, I mean, therein lies the crux, that in Desmond's choice, that he could not make that choice, or that he could not allow people to make that choice if they were not there to make it. So he nobly did give his life, save the world, while at the same time unleashing Juno on it. And so I hope, I'm so excited for Assassin's Creed Origins for so many reasons, but most of all, I really, really hope that something will finally happen with the Juno narrative. Somebody will finally give her her comeuppance for what she did to the world, especially for what she did to Clay and to Desmond. For the prices, the endless prices that she took from them, so that she could return to this world. I don't know whether that time has come, whether Assassin's Creed Origins will be the game in which we finally get to see her actually opposed by anyone, instead of, you know, just a group of internet collectivists that, an internet collective that just filters through Ancestors' data, kind of hoping to find a stage before the Templars do. Looking at you, Unity. I love you so much sometimes. Oh my gosh! Your modern day is not what I love. the right way. Oh, it was. It just didn't spawn correctly. Okay. Anyway, I think the takeaway from this whole stream is this. The modern day has so much potential.
Help Desmond Miles.
I will.
Has so much potential, but unfortunately it is untapped potential. Thank you, those who joined me during the stream, and those who will be watching this later on YouTube. I appreciate you spending your valuable time thinking about and talking about this series, and specifically why it's important to me. You know, these are interesting narratives of sacrifice, but also of betrayal and of selflessness, though. The selfless sacrifices of these characters, of Clay, of Desmond, it's something that really rings with me, that really resonates with me. The idea of people willing to give it all for others. It's something very pure. It's something that I certainly have a lot of respect for. Even in a narrative, I think narratives and stories are told for important reasons, that they resonate in our hearts, and they speak true to the deepest values of humankind. And that's why we keep telling them. You know? If anything, this live stream has made me very pensive, very thoughtful as I prepare to start my Assassin's Creed 3 stream. I'll be continuing on with that here in just a couple of minutes. I think I'll jump right into that. Anyway, go ahead and follow me on the stream on Twitch if you want to watch my streams. Subscribe to my channel on YouTube if you'd like to watch the videos there. Comment, thumbs up. As always, remember, just have fun.